She's our panda. I am about to find out about Panda, which is great. I welcome. Well, you're a familiar face, Joanne, Callan.
Thank
and
you.
You're welcome again. And
Thanks,
Oonagh
Nick.
Kelly,
Hello, how are you?
a midwife lady
Yes.
from Daisy Hill these days.
Yes.
Yeah, and you were saying earlier that if you'd, Joanne was saying, had you a tough night on duty? You're saying if you had been on duty all evening, you wouldn't be here.
Oh, I wouldn't be looking so
at
fresh-faced
night.
at this time in the morning,
Absolutely.
definitely not.
I was making the point here. I thought it's not a bad point if you think about it. It's a very tiring being a midwife, but very satisfying.
Oh, absolutely.
At the beginning
absolutely.
of your stint, there's nothing. The end of your stint, you've got something.
Absolutely.
And that's a great joy for you.
Amazing.
I would have thought. Absolutely. Now, Panda support groups. It's pre and postnatal depression advice and support. I'd heard about postnatal depression because I'm very expert in babies, having had 5 of them myself. But not my sort of, you know what I mean. Like,
So you played your part.
Yeah, I played my part. But my pre, I'm less sure about pre post depression.
Yes, a lot of people don't know about that you can have actually, it's maybe sometimes also called antenatal depression.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that you can actually have antenatal depression when you're pregnant, because that transition from coming from being a woman to being a mother,
Yeah.
it's 9 months of your life, you know,
gone.
carrying a baby and stuff.
Yeah.
It can be quite difficult.
But my observation is that that's a permanent transformation, because once a mother, you'll never, ever possibly be the same again.
Yeah.
Your change, dare one say, a terrible beauty is born, as they said about the creation of Misha Era and the creation of the country. Terrible beauty, but a great strength, the power of motherhood. You suddenly enter into a completely new genre.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think it's an area, depending on a woman's circumstances, it can bring a lot of pressures. There may be financial pressures. There may be there's so many different reasons. It may be that there's already maybe a number of children at home, or it may just be that it is, as Oonagh said, that transition, that this is a complete change, maybe one that wasn't necessarily planned for, and I think life has changed so much as well that we need to look at supporting women the whole way through pregnancy, and not just apart from other things as well. I mean, I would meet, and I'm sure Oonagh meets them all the time as well, we would meet women who, because of society and how the media portray birthing and everything like that can be quite a lot of fear around how am I actually, this baby's here, but how's it going to get out?
Like
I certainly wouldn't want to be there for that. I tell you.
And that's the journey that a woman, if we're going for a driving test, it's okay to be nervous, or it's okay to be, but you're kind of expected that, you'll just
But I've heard women speak about it as the worst pain in the entire world.
Yeah. And then there are other women who will speak about it as a wonderful, amazing experience.
But isn't the body designed, you know this as a midwife, isn't the pelvic area of the woman designed to skeletally open so many centimeters so that the impossible becomes possible?
Yeah. But that bit gets so missed in so much of the coverage.
Our bodies are an amazing design, and we are designed to birth our babies.
Yeah, you are, of course.
Absolutely.
But it's the mind sometimes that can get in the way of allowing the body to
fear
do.
holds a lot of women back, and that again is why a lot of women have antenatal depression and then move on to postnatal depression if it's not treated, because they have built up this fear, and programs like One Born Every Minute, where there is so much fear and so much fright put into women about giving birth and stuff like that,
And even, women on the street are quite happy to share horrific birth experiences and instill that fear. But yet Oonagh and I will work with so many women who have wonderful experiences, but then feel that they maybe can't share them necessarily because it's not the norm, it's not accepted. If you come out talking about
that's society, isn't it?
It's where society and the media have played their part.
The worse the story, the better it is.
No matter what area of life we're looking at.
Oh, she had a terrible time. 72 hours sort of job, Oh, Jesus, yes.
And yet if a woman who has, a pleasant, enjoyable, wonderful experience starts to talk about that, then she maybe feels that she's undermining another woman who hasn't had, you know, there's such complexities, but the fact is that antenatal depression does exist and is very real and very difficult for a woman.
It's a lot to do with their hormones and stuff as well. It's not just all even about the fear and stuff. There's so many changes happening to a woman's body when she becomes pregnant, you know, and it's that adjustment. Like, when
I hear you talk about these things, you know, hormones, that reminds me. I remember well. I'm so delighted to be out the other end of the tunnel. I don't need to be concerned about it anymore, because how we all got through it, women got through it, men got through it. There was never panda when I was raising my kids, or my wife was having babies. But I mean, I wouldn't be fit to go back through it all again. No, I suppose there is a time. Taken at the tide will lead to greatness. Absolutely. But the tide goes then, and you're onto something else. Now, 10 to 15% of mothers will experience postnatal depression after the baby's born. Would you know, in working with the women coming up to the time of birth, are there any signs that Mrs. A is likely to fall into the 10, 15%?
Sometimes there can be a history and stuff like that, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, there doesn't have to be any kind of history or anything. It can just, you know, happen to anybody.
But you can just go flip, and that's it, you know.
But it can start off very mild. I mean, the symptoms can be very mild, and it can range from mild to quite severe, whereas women would need hospitalised and stuff like that. But there's a lot of women in the lesser category that just need a little bit of support. You know, they just need to talk to another woman, and they just need a bit of, you know, it's okay not to be okay. You don't have to be this amazing woman. A lot of women put so much pressure on themselves now when they have a baby that they have to have show homes, and they have to be perfectly dressed, and if they're not, they feel that they're a bad mother, and they're putting too much pressure on themselves, and society has a lot to do with that as well.
Absolutely.
And then we have, you know, again, as it says, like a number of years ago, a woman may have been in, well, when it was the hospital model, women would have been in hospital for a week.
Absolutely.
The visitors happened in a hospital. It didn't matter what their house was like. It didn't matter if they hadn't been washed and done for 3 or 4 days, or if there was no milk in the fridge, or whatever. That didn't matter, because anybody that was coming in was going to see them in the hospital. So that transition happened. Previous to that, maybe when women were having babies at home, they had it was a different model of support and a different expectation. Nobody would have called without bringing a load of food, or you know, very practical help and practical support.
The last thing you do, the hospital would bring a basket full of goodies. You wouldn't think of it that way.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
But the community gathered around.
But
I was born at home, and it didn't do me a button of harm. You know?
But now, and it still doesn't do. It's still an area, but. As well as that, then we have, you know, we now have women who are home very, very quickly. They're home, you know, within 24 hours a lot of the time.
In the fields, they go into labour, and they hunker down between the plants and emerge from the greenery with a bundle in their arms.
But again, the societal expectations are different there, and you know, the whole thing interacts in. But
are we getting a societal expectation here? Because Daisy Hill is the world champion of caesareans by all accounts. There's more caesareans occur there. I think that's true. I saw that statistic recently. But I mean, are people gravitating towards caesarean just for the perception that it eases pain, but forgetting about the whole musculature that's been cut and opened, and all of the healing process that needs to occur?
Possibly, but there are mixed reasons behind. And I recently listened to one of the consultants speaking, and you know, they have the reasons for some of their decisions. Some maybe yes, you know, it's fear, and there's an option there where women feel like it is an easier option. But I think, you know, it's never just as black and white as that, and it's never as cut and dry.
There's not too many people opt for caesarean section just for the sake of it. They've either had a traumatic experience before, or they've had an emergency caesarean before, or possibly the baby's in the wrong position to be birthed.
Of course.
You know, you know, it's not just a choice like, oh no, well, I think I'll have a caesarean section. It doesn't work like that.
The nearest, I have to tell you, don't misunderstand this, the nearest I ever came to your job, it was at Violet Hill College with the farmer there, birthing a cow. But you put it into my head when you said the baby's the wrong position. And one had to sort of go in one side and turn the calf all the way. You have things like that to do as a midwife, to turn the baby and get the baby right. Sometimes the umbilical cord can be restricting the baby across the neck. It's a frightening maelstrom of awful possibility if you get it wrong.
But the majority is
The majority
where it goes
are,
well.
you know, yeah,
and
the
the
majority.
majority it goes, it does go well, and we are lucky to have such a strong team of professionals, in, you know, in our
Absolutely.
The Callan
surroundings.
How
How did Panda?
absolutely
I should
fantastic.
listen to me. Tell me about it. I go up there once or twice. I would just pass, and I saw your new A&E department there. Superlative.
Lovely,
It's
yeah.
wonderful. It's beyond words. It's so good.
Yeah.
I love it. It's congratulations there. And there's a young doctor up there. He's a great fella. Connor is his name. That's his first name. I can remember his second name. You'll kill me for that. But I was telling him the other day, he appears in this Destination Uri documentary for Daisy Hill.
Oh, right.
I am such a... I says, Connor, you're in there. I'm Connor. I pay everybody right when they come in. He's an A&E. The triage kind of operation is there. So how did Panda begin? What's the origin?
Panda is a charity that's registered over in England and Wales, and it was set up by a lady called Rachel who suffered from postnatal depression. So she set up the charity, and so it's a foundation over there, and I have just become affiliated with Pandas. So basically, I'm kind of piggybacking on the back of those to set up local support groups. Now there's another one in Belfast, but we're the only two Panda support groups in Northern Ireland at the moment, but there's a few of my colleagues and stuff are setting up groups up around Ballymena and stuff.
But you, Joanne, you intimately involved in this and pressing the whole thing forward, and you have a great interest in it. It's significant that Panda is growing from the grassroots up. From the foundation, from people. A lady called Rachel. You know, it's not some government quango that's stuck in there.
And you know, there's government support, which is very necessary, and you know, visiting the GP and the way things are moving, and
going,
you know, I think we can sit and wait for budgets and all that kind of stuff to be sorted out, but we can also then just take action. And you know, as Oonagh said, sometimes all women need is just a chat. You know, they need just someone to help put maybe things into perspective, let them know that this isn't permanent, this too will change. You know, this it is a changing cycle. It's not going to be the same. It may change. It'll be different, that's for certain. It may not necessarily, you know, the problem may change, but it will change, and it's not going to be the same issue all of the time. And just to have someone that can let you know that you're not the only person.
And there's lovely little quotes here.
Yeah, there's.
You know, you have everyone in the support group was so welcoming and understood what I was going through. And another person says, I find the group welcoming, relaxed. The environment enables me to meet others who have gone through similar things.
It's just to let women know that they're not on their own, that they don't have to stay behind closed doors, that there is support out there.
And how does the physicality of Panda work? Do you meet every month or something?
Yes, well, we're starting our support group now on the 5th of December, and we're going to be meeting on the first Friday of every month. And we're meeting in Tesco's community room.
You're very good there, aren't they?
Yes, they are, So, and
they tried to turn me into a Christian there. There was an alpha course, but all I did was confuse things. That was just the truth. But they're in the community. That's good. But I mean,
so they have a wee room there that we're going to use every Friday. So
but how does a woman know she should come to you?
Just if at any stage at all that they're struggling, do you know what I mean? Or they just want to talk, or they even just want to come out and meet other women, have a wee cup of tea. They're more than welcome to take the kids.
You will.
Take their kids with them, you know.
You will. Have a cup of tea. It's hard to beat. Some of the nicest tea and toast ever I've had in my life has been after the birth of my children. You know, I was so exhausted.
And you haven't been the one labouring.
But it took a lot out of me watching it, you know, honest to God. It was very funny. I had 5 girls, and on the birth of my 5th girl, I'm standing. It was the only one I looked. I was there observing happening. Oh, I says, thanks be to God. I didn't actually, because I never hoped for a boy. Never did. That's my God's honest truth. But I was fascinated. I said, ach, it's a boy. And I was sure it was, until the child came out a girl. And what I had mistaken for a boy appendage was the umbilical cord. So I wasn't getting any boys at any stage. So when they come to you, if they should make the contact if, you know, just if they're not feeling 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
It may or may not be.
And it's not even that it's always depression. Sometimes it can just be anxiety. You know, just overly worried about, you know, and fretting, maybe even about the baby sleeping, or, you know, anything at all. We're there to support everyone, you know, even from the very mild. But as I say, if anyone does need further support or anything, then we will refer them back to their GP or to the medical services.
Can GPs help here?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
GPs, I think, can play a big role, and even sometimes with women that I've worked with, even explaining, you know, sometimes they're so caught up with the baby and everything that's going on there that they haven't stopped to think that two of the fundamental key things that will affect how you're feeling emotionally is lack of sleep and your hormonal changes, obviously, as well, and maybe not getting the right food. Those three things are so fundamental, and yet they're very normal things that happen after, when a new baby is born. And you know, the sleeping pattern changes and you're exhausted and you're tired, and that all, you know, if we don't have sleep, any one of us, take out of the picture that you've got a baby who needs you, who is now reliant on you for all of its needs, and the pressures that can bring. But just take the lack of sleep out. And sometimes all it takes is for a woman to even identify that, you know what, if I didn't sleep right in normal times, I would feel pretty down. So this is normal. And once we normalise it in our heads, or we can find a way of normalising how we're feeling, that can be enough to take the pressure off and to just say, you know,
it's short term.
Actually, this is short term. This is temporary, and this is a completely. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm not going mad. I'm not. You know, all of those things. All I am is deprived of sleep. Oh, okay, that's fine. And then they realise that, and that can make a big difference.
Do you ever ask the husband if he's going mad?
Well, that and you know, the support is there as well. So
sometimes the husband can not be helpful.
So as Joanne said, the support group does support husbands and family and the whole family as a unit, because if a woman is suffering and she doesn't seek help, then it can go on to affect the whole family, you know, because of the tiredness and stuff like that, and maybe a lot more pressure being put on the partner, and he's out working and stuff, and you know, so we're there to support the whole family.
And in addition to the meetings, you know, we do have a Facebook page there as well, because sometimes maybe people mightn't feel like they're at a stage where they can go to a meeting. So, you know, they can contact us through the Facebook page. And I've heard people say to me over the last while that, you know, the fact that there is a group in Uri has even normalised things for them. That has helped, just knowing that there's a need for it, because then you suddenly realise, well, okay, if people are going to the effort to set up a group for this, there's more than just me.
Exactly.
And that in itself can be such a transformation, to just realise that there are other people where you are. And, you know, as Oonagh said, you know, there's so many different reasons as to why.
You have a bit of a do coming up.
We have,
as they say in Uri, a bit of a do.
We have a fundraising evening coming up on this coming Wednesday night in Uri Golf Club, and it's a ladies' night. So we've some pampering, well-being, shopping, and I just noticed this morning, I've actually just posted on Facebook this morning, the sort of the post that has been gone through around this last couple of years around shopping local and supporting local businesses and things like that. So it will be an ideal night for that as well. And it's a night where we can come out, and really, obviously, to run any support group, there needs to be funds there in order to meet the costs and the demands of that. So we're really asking all women of all ages, all stages, everything, to come out and just support the evening. It'll be relaxed, it'll be fun, there'll be, you know, the things that women like to do: shopping, well-being, bit of pampering, all of those things. And we're hoping that we really get the support. I ran a similar event a few years ago, and some people might remember being at it, for cancer research, and it was a fantastic night. So I'm hoping that we get the same support.
So where do they go? The Uri Golf Club?
Uri Golf Club, Wednesday evening.
Wednesday evening, 7 o'clock?
7 p.m, 7 till about 9:30. And great opportunity. Even I have a few friends who are using it as an evening to catch up before the Christmas madness hits, so they're maybe going for a bite to eat beforehand and things like that. So lots of options there. The golf club's a great venue, and I have to say Gary and the golf club's very supportive of of
Yes.
anything that I've ever done. So
And there'll be a lovely raffle as well. A lot of the local businesses are supporting it and have given us donations and stuff. So,
That's good.
yeah,
as well.
so it should be a
it'll
nice
good.
evening. Yeah,
I am
lovely
in
evening.
awe of Panda. and
Just
I
take a
think
leaflet
it-
home and give it to
Yeah.
somebody,
Yeah.
even
Get
if
the
it's
word
a
out
granddaughter,
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
get the word
daughter-in-law,
out there.
anybody,
Yeah.
you know.
And spread the word, because we're all talking to people all
Yeah.
at the time, and
And this is classically one where
Yeah.
talk is the answer.
Big time,
yeah,
absolutely.
really is.
Because
Ron, yeah.
suddenly people feel, oh, goodness gracious, they understand.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that kind of
and
thing.
it normalises stuff. You know,
And just say as well that they're more than women that come along to the group are more than welcome to bring their babies with them, because I certainly know it's so hard to get out
Oh,
in the
yeah.
evening, and you don't want part of even that anxiety and stuff associated with postnatal depression. You don't want to leave the baby behind.
Of course.
You know, so they're more than welcome to take the babies with them. You know.
That's as good as it gets. Oonagh, Kelly, midwife,
Yes,
Panda, thank you.
you're welcome.
And Joanne Callan, wonderful person of caring in these areas.
thank you, Ron.
And chiefly Panda at the moment.
Panda shirt on today.
And
Yes.
thank you very, very much indeed.
Thanks a million, Ron. for
We're
having
going to, I
us
think,
on.
to some ads, are we? And then we're going to play some music.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Wednesday night,
Yes.
7, Golf Club.
Destination Newry. We're back in moments.